Welcome to our small tutorial with our Excel file. Let's assume that you are a portfolio manager and you want to buy equities that have an attractive momentum exposure. Then you can look at those 600 equities that are the constituents of the stocks 600 and look for the rankings. For example, you could buy the M.M.Warburg group. There we got the momentum factor, and the higher the ranking, the more attractive the equity is. For example, the Adidas is very attractive. Oops, come on. As I said, the M.M.Warburg group is also very attractive because we have a ranking of 580. What else could we buy? We could buy the Amer Sports maybe with a ranking of 508. We could also maybe buy the Auto Trader group with a ranking of 577. I guess you're getting the idea. So we can check the resulting factor exposure that comes out from that. When it comes to the momentum factor, basically by definition we have an attractive ranking. Actually, the average ranking now of the selected stocks is 564, which is pretty good. Also, when it comes to earnings revisions, the resulting average ranking, the resulting factor exposure towards this factor earnings revisions is quite attractive with an average ranking of 503. That's not really a surprise because momentum and earnings revisions are usually correlated when it comes to factor exposures, so that's okay. But take a look at the valuation exposure. That's terrible. Average ranking only 119. With other words, we've selected stocks that are very, very expensive. As a portfolio manager, you don't want to do that. So what you could do in theory is now you could try to buy a couple of equities that are attractive when it comes to valuation to compensate for that. Now we certainly can do that by maybe buying the AP Maersk. We could also buy maybe the Aberdeen, which is also rather cheap. We can buy the ACS, which is rather cheap. We can buy the Aegon, which is rather cheap. Maybe we buy one more equity. Let's see. Let's go for the Air France, ranking 586. Now see what happens. Valuation is okay, momentum is still okay, but volatility properties now are not okay anymore. So we have selected equities that are rather volatile on average. Average ranking is 209. Let's see if we can also correct that. So maybe we go for equities like the Abertis. What else could we do? We could maybe buy the ADP. We could buy the BAE Systems, British Aerospace. What else could we do? We could maybe buy the Beasley and the Beiersdorf to compensate for the rather bad exposure towards Minvol. That has worked. Volatility properties are now okay, more or less, but look at size. Now the exposure towards mid and small caps is not that great anymore. We could do much better, and of course you could now try to select equities that show a rather attractive exposure toward the size factor, but again we would find out that it doesn't really work that well, because again some kind of trade-offs would come up that somehow destroy the overall attractiveness. So the message basically is clear. It's very, very difficult to select single stocks in a very classical, intuitive manner and come up with a portfolio that has an attractive factor skyline overall. If you want to select equities that on the portfolio level have an attractive exposure towards different factors, then you really need some kind of math. And we have implemented that math. Let's actually now produce this portfolio. And now we have actually selected equities, 100 equities out of those 600 equities that have an overall highly attractive factor exposure towards all kinds of factors. It's homogeneous and attractive, and this could never ever be done by selecting individual stocks in any kind of classical intuitive manner. You need some kind of math to do that, and this file is basically there to prove that.